with reports of Vince McMahon having a match at WrestleMania. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for February 26th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial, and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. At WrestleMania 30, one of the most shocking moments took place when Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker, ending his 21-match win streak at the event. While many have disagreed with the decision to have Taker lose his unbeaten streak, Matt Hardy revealed on his podcast why he's glad it happened. Looking back and considering what Brock has done since then, it does not bother me. You could have had the streak go on forever, but at the end of the day, if he just retires with the streak, then nobody gets anything out of it. At least Brock had something very substantial out of it, and then Brock, love him or hate him, he has ended up being a huge player and the draw for the full-timers who come in and make appearances and runs, and he is great at what he does. Brock is amazing at what he does, so I do not mind Brock ending the streak at all. Of course, the dead man is set to be put into the Hall of Fame this year, with there being rumors that he could be the only induction. With him referencing Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles when talking about plans for WrestleMania, WWE has announced that Edge will address his Mania plans next week on Raw. Edge is searching for his next WrestleMania opponent. The Rated R Superstar returned to the Red brand this past Monday to remind the WWE Universe about his epic history on the grandest stage of them all, and that the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania in history cannot be named as such without the WWE Hall of Famer on its match card. The 11-time WWE champion sat in the middle of the ring and threw down the gauntlet to the entire locker room, looking for someone to step up and prove themselves. Will someone rise to the occasion and accept Edge's challenge at the Showcase of the Immortals? Tune into Monday night at 8/7 Central on USA to find out as Edge once again takes to the squared circle to see if any superstar is man enough to step up to the Rated R Superstar. Given his contract recently expired and an agreement on a new deal could not be reached, Cesaro is no longer a part of WWE. He'll be able to sign with another promotion since he will not have a non-compete clause. Talking about this on his YouTube channel, Mick Foley had this to say regarding the departure. I feel like WWE's loss is going to be professional wrestling's gain, because Cesaro can work anywhere in the world. While AEW would be a great destination for him, I would love to see him just venture out, because he is one of those guys who can work any style with anyone and tear it down. Have a great match. This is not the end for Cesaro. In some ways, it is just the beginning. Shotzi Blackheart spoke to Mondragon Chiropractic about the physical pain she is dealing with. Right now, my lower back hurts. I actually got x-rays on it. It's nothing crazy, but they said that my pelvic bone is tilted forward. They've been giving me rehab exercises and stuff. I'm way better than a month ago, for sure. 10. It was pretty bad. I had a match, and then I woke up the next morning, and it was really hard for me to get up. I slid off of the bed onto the floor, and I couldn't even put pressure onto my knees or crawl. I've been off for a little bit. Reports have come out that WWE is preparing a feud and potential match for Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania this year. His opponent is likely to be Kevin Owens. On a show, Jim Ross touched on Austin making a comeback to wrestling, hinting that fans wanting to see Stone Cold in action are naive. Steve still has a great passion for the business. I don't think he wants to reignite his wrestling career. I don't know that the success that AEW has had with a guy that's older than him and another legend in Sting has influenced that creative or that idea. I don't know. I talked to Steve about once a month, and more often than not, we don't even talk about wrestling. He doesn't even watch a lot of wrestling, and I've probably watched too much, so we don't even go there. It's a football conversation, or it's home improvement stuff, food, the grill, things like that. We're just old friends, and there are a million things we can talk about without talking about pro wrestling. It's an interesting concept. He'll sell a lot of tickets if he's booked, but WWE is burning daylight on getting closer and closer to their D-Day. One would assume if Steve is going to do something, that would be finalized sooner than later. later. I just don't know if it's going to happen or not. Someone goes online and it hits the timeline and all of a sudden it's fact. It proves our society is very naive. It's not that simple. If he wants to do it, I hope he does. And I think it would be great because there's a whole generation of fans that haven't even seen him in his full presentation inside the ring. And I think that would be entertaining for anybody. Ross would then talk about the current WWE product, noting that it is stale due to a lack of younger stars on the main shows. I think, like a lot of people, they are under the impression that WWE is a little stale right now. They need some freshen up, some surprises. They've got to take a chance or take chances on providing opportunities for those that they believe are potentially a player. I signed a lot of talents, but the high priority recruiting pushes and the negotiations and all of that was on the guys that I felt like at the time were WrestleMania card caliber. If you miss a little bit on that goal, you've still got a hell of a hand. It all stems at the top. Who's calling the plays? It all starts at the top, and it's so subjective that you're not going to hit all the time. And it's so subjective you're not going to hit every time. As a matter of fact, you're going to probably miss more than you're going to hit. We were just lucky that in the Attitude Era that people finally still remembered because we had great talent. Recently, Cody Rhodes, to the surprise of many, left AEW, as many are thinking he could be gearing up for a return to WWE. Speaking about Cody on the Masked Man show, Bryan Danielson revealed Rhodes taught him how to be a good liar. I have a great relationship with Cody. Cody and I have been friends for a long time. We'd ride together in WWE and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys know this. This is probably something that the boys know, but I'm a big time liar. I love to lie. My love of lying, I wasn't a very good liar until I rode with Cody. Cody taught me how fun lying is. Just making up, saying something straight to somebody's face, the most absurd lie. Some of that, I really enjoy Cody. Danielson would also note that he still does not use social media. I have a Twitter, and here's a dirty secret, which is that I don't run my social media. While there are times where I will post something on social media, but it is very few and far between, and most of the time it's my manager who does it, and I don't know if he wants me to say that, but like he'll post something. It's just like one of those things. I don't want to do it. I don't want to get caught up, but yeah, I think it's interesting. You could use social media. Social media is just a tool, right? But you have to use it and not let it use you. And I think wrestlers can and should, if they want to, use it as a tool. In some unfortunate news, Tammy Sytch, better known to WWE fans as Sunny, was arrested in Keansburg, New Jersey on Thursday, where they're still apparently incarcerated. The charges for this arrest include DUI, driving with a suspended or revoked license, reckless driving, careless driving, failure to wear a seatbelt, driving without a license, failure to possess driver's license, failure to register, not having insurance, failure to install an interlock, and a second violation of operating on a suspended license. The details of the arrest are unknown at this time, with their court date set for the 10th. After being let go by WWE, Keith Lee has made his way to AEW, making his debut for the promotion on Dynamite to qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match. On Busted Open Radio, Lee talked about his goals, saying he wants to rebuild his brand. My last foray in the return to Dallas was such a weird experience for me, and not because of the fans. The fans are always fantastic. As a matter of fact, when I debuted for AEW, I'd forgotten what it was like to hear them when they recognized it was me. Those are the moments I look forward to, the excitement of the people and what they bring. Being in your home state is something very special. I'm looking forward to all those returns, the new battles, the opportunities, and earning my way through things and rebuilding a brand. I don't feel like it's broken or busted. I feel like it was something marred, and putting that stamp down of dark, bold ink of this is who Keith Lee is. Ringside News reported that WWE has plans for Pat McAfee at WrestleMania this year, and now it's been confirmed that there have been discussions of Vince McMahon having a match. Post Wrestling has now said that the word on the street is the company is planning a feud between McMahon and McAfee, with it said this program will most likely lead to a match at the event. McMahon will be on the Pat McAfee show next week, which should kick off this rivalry. During his appearance on the Masked Man show, Danielson talked about working with writers, saying he liked to work with writers in WWE. In a weird way, I enjoy the concept of limitations. Some people like the idea of, for example, we don't have writers per se in AEW. I enjoyed working with the writers. Not only was I a part of the creative team with WWE, but when I had a promo, the writer and I would work together. It was a partnership and a collaboration. I've always enjoyed collaboration more so than just, here's my thing. I think initially in wrestling, because I was very shy, I stuck to myself and just did whatever my idea was that was in my head. But now as I get older, one of the things I find the most fun about wrestling is the collaborative aspect of it. Whether it be your opponent that you're wrestling against, or it's, okay, I have this interview segment. When I was the Planet's champion, my writer was Robert, and he and I worked together so well. He would present me with, hey, this is kind of what the promo is. Then I would be like, what if we do this? We bounced ideas off each other really well. I find when you work really well with somebody in collaboration, to me, that's a lot of fun. Pro wrestling legend Ric Flair, in remembrance of his late son Reed, took to Twitter to write, as great as yesterday was, I hope everyone will be as respectful in remembering my son who passed away in 2013. He meant the world to me as well as his sister, brother, and mother. We've all come to realize that he's in a much better place and safe. I love you, Reed, forever. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.